this, it'll be, we'll have a YouTube channel, and we'll also have hopefully some automatic transcribing efforts. So this will help us with a lot of things. So nevertheless, if you could all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. This is August 26th, our work meeting, August 26th of 2024. And so we're going to start today with a presentation from Ed Carey, who's from Good Energy / Constellation regarding community choice aggregation. If you would please step up to the lectern, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you, Council. Thank you, Supervisor. Everyone here. So there's a feedback here of a bunch of family up in Wyndham, so I'll get to see them this evening. And well, I came to New Baltimore several years ago and sort of introduced this product. It's an energy project for electricity. I'll give you a little bit of history of who I am and how we got involved and the success of what we've done here in New Baltimore. Yes, I work for a company called Good Energy. I've been in energy for about 30 years. So I worked for my family for an energy company, and I worked in the city of New York. So I was part of the Giuliani and then Bloomberg administration doing purchasing for fuel oil, gasoline, and everything else to help make the city run. And then I worked at Amarada Hess for a while with the Hess gas stations. I was in their executive program, and then joined into Good Energy 17 years ago. And so that's sort of my background. And what we do is we go after government. It's our specialty. So we manage the energy for over close to 3,000 or 4,000 municipalities across the United States. In New York State, you have all these different associations that sort of run the state. So there's 61 counties in New York State, and 61 county executives, and that's run by the New York Conference of Counties. Then you have the mayors. There's 581 mayors in the state, and that's run by NICOM, New York Conference of Mayors. And then AOT, which is the biggest, we have 982 supervisors in the state. That's AOT. So you have NICOM and AOT came together as one, and they created NIMA, which is the New York Municipal Energy Program, and I run that. And as you know, part of AOT, you're members of that, so you get the benefit of doing bulk purchasing if it's a fire truck or whatever it might be. But energy is, we run this all throughout the state. So we're doing stuff like we're doing the gas in Albany, we're doing things in the western part of the state, in Buffalo, Lackawanna, Syracuse, Long Island. We have Brookhaven, town of Hempstead, and we do large purchasing of energy. In this aggregation here in Greene County, you're in a partnership with Caro, Katsaki, and yourselves, and it's a residential program. And we went out and did a bulk purchase on your behalf, and several years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and then you renewed with us. And every time we've done this, we've had some pretty good success. Last time we did this, energy was in the 13 to 14 range. We got a rate at about, I think it was 11.3 or 11.7. I don't recall the exact number, but you were in the 11s. Ukraine came, and then it went. The energy went up per kWh over 22 cents, and you were doing extremely well. You're paying half of what the local market was paying. Since then, the market has come down substantially. Now we're looking to renew this contract, and we're looking at contracts in the high 9s, maybe the 10s. The last program you did it for 36 months. And out of that 36 months, you were probably underwater, probably 4 months, but the contract did a great job. You benefited out of the 36, 31, or 32 out of the 36. The last 2 months you were underwater, just not by much, maybe about a penny and a half. But now you're back. Energy has now come back up, and you're now below that rate. what the program did was basically, it saved everyone between $100 and $125 per year. It's a fixed rate. The utilities, it's illegal to give them give you a fixed rate. So we put this at the bid. Constellation won the bid, and they put you at a fixed cost. Over the course of time with this, I was talking to the former supervisor, and you benefited by between $100 and $150,000 per year on savings in this community. Times that by 5, you gain over $500,000 for really doing nothing. I mean, you joined into this program and you benefited greatly. Now we're looking to renew this contract, and we're going to come back here and say, where is the market? The energy is just like a mortgage rate; it goes up, peaks, valleys, all over. Our job is to go out and find you that best rate. It might be 12, might be 24, it might be 48 months. We don't know. We're going to have to go into the futures market and look at that. When you pass to move forward with the CCA, the rules state that we've come to an agreement, we show that there's a savings, and we move forward. But at any point in time, I don't have a contract with any of you. You do not have to be in this at all. It's an option. When you came to New Baltimore and you bought your house and Central Hudson was your utility, you did not have a choice. You need electricity, so you signed up and they give you energy. You don't have a choice. With the New Baltimore CCA, you do have a choice. You can stay on the open market and go peaks and valleys wherever it goes, or you can go on the fixed lot with all your other constituents and go out and get a cheaper rate. Going forward, the farther we go out right now, you would think the price would get cheaper. Energy right now is escalating. Natural gas is the primary feedstock that creates electricity, but the demand for energy is through the roof right now. That being because of the electrification of everything. AI is coming down the pike, and we can't predict this stuff. It takes 2 years to build an AI plant. It takes 5 to 7 years to do a generation plant. So here's a demand, and here's what we have in the bank. So we know that energy is going to be more expensive. So what we're going to be doing here is currently the local market right now is 11, 12, whatever that may be. We're seeing numbers at the 9s, and we're going to try to get that as far as we can get that. And also, we're going to be going around to the different municipalities here and seeing if they want to participate in this program as well. You're going to be receiving a mailing. It's going to look like some debt. It's going to come into your utility bill. It's describing the program. If anybody wants to know about the program, if you don't know about the program, I have these flyers here that people can grab. I have my business card here. You can call me at any time and say, what is this? We want to know more about it. Everyone has received those harassing phone calls saying, hey, I can save you money and stuff like that. Out of these, I've been doing this for a very long time, and in the state of New York, there's 200 registered ESCOs in the state. I would personally say I would trust only 10 of them.
ESCO being what?
Huh?
What's an ESCO?
So it's an energy service company. Okay, those are suppliers. And Constellation, that's the largest in the United States. That's who you're with. You've done very, very, very well on since this was incorporated, thanks to your elected officials who put this in place for you. Any questions?
Go ahead.
What's a year? Is it just, are you going by calendar years? Are you going by a fiscal year? Or is it just the date we do the contract?
I'm going by when the contract is up in December. So
Okay.
I'm going by that year.
Okay,
So December to December.
okay,
You've been saving a lot of money.
okay.
Yeah, the ESCOs, Ed, that you mentioned, Ed, those are the ones that call you up and say, go get your Central Hudson bill right now. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, like,
you guys will never call anybody on the phone.
yeah, those are like very small people who are trying to get
Right.
the average home is between 1,000 and 3,000 square feet. We look at aggregations of like, when we take on all of Carroll, all of New Baltimore, we're looking at a square footage of like, close to 1 million square feet. And then part of the rules, when we go out and buy this, we have to have access to 3 times the amount of money of what that's worth. So when we go out, it's 50 million or 35 million, we have to have access to about $150 million of cash to buy that. Who can do that? It comes down to 3 companies. It could be Calpine, NRG, or Constellation, of which you have. And they successfully won it, and they put the hedge in. The other companies, they don't have access to that type of capital. They would never possibly be able to do it. As part of NIMEP, oh, sorry,
So what's your company get out of this?
I can't hear you.
Why is your company doing this? Are you making profit?
Yeah. Yeah, I make profit with this. This is how I feed my family. We go out and, yes, there is part of the fee that is, we have to come back to you and say, hey, there's a discount in there. But yes, there is a, 0.00, whatever the number is, part of my company, we make money on that. It's built into the price.
I think, oh, okay, go ahead.
And Constellation is the energy producer.
There,
or the
yeah.
pipeline.
Yeah, there's like, if you look at a utility, is Central Hudson, they're a transporter. They pick up A and they deliver to B. They don't generate power. They just pick it up from the generation station and they deliver it to your home. And Constellation is a major nuclear generation company. And we're going into a wholesale market, buying from them and then coming back to you at a retail product. So we're getting access to extremely low power and then putting it back through Central Hudson's wires at a retail price to you. But we're beating the Central Hudson price.
So that's the price of the electricity, but the delivery charges are still Central Hudson?
Correct. Yeah, on your bill, you're looking at 3 components. You have the transportation and distribution, which is about 40% of that, and the other 60% would be the supply portion. The utility does not make a 1 cent on the supply portion. They don't care where the price goes. They don't make a penny on it. They make 100% of their profit on the transportation and the distribution of that power. So, someone, a line goes down or whatever like that, they maintain all the lines, and that's how they make all of their profits.
And I think it should be pointed out, because you and I, over the years, have spoken a good number of times.
Yep.
There has been, sometimes there's folks in the community that don't, or they may be new or may have actually been here throughout, that don't really know much about this program. And I want to thank both you and Javier Barrios, who have reached back to those individuals that have contacted me. They don't understand. I know there's one person who has signed on and signed off and signed on and signed off and signed on again.
Yeah, that's
a
okay.
few times.
People they call us, I can do better. And I'm coming into an arena of 1 million square feet, and if they want to come in and tell me that they can beat me with their 2,000 square foot house, I'm like, that's a lie. But okay, go ahead. But yes, that happens. That happens a lot. People play the system. I don't have a contract, so they jump out of the program. They come back. They jump in. It's rare that a person with a lot of time on their hands, but but by law we have to accept them at the contractual price. So if they want to leave, they leave, and if they want to come back, we take them back at the lower rate.
Well, the main reason I brought that up is I wanted to, let folks know that you folks have been rather responsive to the individual up on XYZ Road. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, good. I don't know if Wayne is here.
No.
I spoke to a gentleman the other night. He said he was going to come, but he was very nice.
How does this work? Like, I have a budget plan. Does it work with that? Because some people have, called and said, yeah, we can do it. And then they turn around and say, yeah, it doesn't work with budget plan with Central Hudson.
I mean, there are, yes, if someone is, they call it LMI, which is low to moderate income,
Uh-huh.
they're on a special rate, and, no, we don't do that.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they
Because
take
they have
it, they
that-
take it and they say, every month you're gonna pay $200
Mhm.
based on your
Usage.
Estimated
Usage.
usage.
right, they look at last year and say, this is what you
That's
used,
right.
so this year, your bill is always gonna be $200 until
This
the
month.
end of the year,
They
and
catch up.
then they catch up or they give money back.
Right.
Is
So,
that, I mean, you're talking about solar?
No.
no, Central
Oh.
Hudson has a budget plan,
Okay,
so that, in the summer month, or in the winter.
okay, yes, no, yeah, I got confused. No, this one, I mean, we're just going off the meter, wherever the meter says, is like, that's what you're gonna be billed. So that type of program, it's not gonna affect that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because,
The CCA does not affect that.
Guys, have you-
The CCA is, there's 4 of us in the state. We're the largest. Westchester Power only does Westchester County. There's a company called Jewel up in the Adirondacks, that I really don't know. And, another one, it was on the western part of the state, but they just went out of business. It was an Ohio company and they gave up on New York. So now there's really just 3 of us. And, we're in this for the long haul. And, everything that we do, we're heavily regulated by the Public Service Commission. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, thank you.
This energy that you are selling or providing.
Yep.
How is it gathered? Are we talking about you getting it by virtue of nuclear power plants or?
We're buying it, like, it's called the NISO, and that stands for the New York Independent System Generators Operator. That's the wholesale. There's all these different, when you hear about the term, the grid,
Yeah.
like New England has there, that's all, whatever, it's Massachusetts, Vermont, not Vermont, but they have, it's NEISO. The largest grid in the United States is PJM, which is Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, also Ohio and Illinois. Texas has ERCOT, and then Midwest.
How are they getting it?
But it's coming from all over. I mean, it's nuclear, it's coal, it's oil.
That's what I want.
A good 70% of it is coming from natural gas generation. And coal has pretty much been phased out,
Right.
and all the green stuff is all coming in now. So wind, hydro, biogas, that's supporting a tremendous amount of energy coming into this country now. So, but gas is, we are swimming, drowning in natural gas right now. And that's the whole, where is the gas gonna, is it gonna stay here, or are we gonna export it? I don't know.
All right.
But
It would sound to me, I'm sorry, but it would sound to me as the governor wants everybody that has an electric stove to convert to gas so that they can take advantage of all this gas that's out there.
It's the opposite.
She wants the opposite.
the opposite. Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to get across is no matter how we go, we are a area that's not gonna have direct energy from the power plants and take care of all our needs. We couldn't have a wood stove anymore, we had to throw that out. We had to get all of this because of clean energy.
I mean, I can't stop the future. Again, when we go out, we buy electrons here, I have no clue where they're coming from. I mean, they go into the grid, and we buy it off the grid. All the different wholesalers are supplying the grid. Majority of it is coming from, natural gas or nuclear, and then the other stuff is they're phasing out hydrocarbon type stuff and bringing on new alternative stuff.
All right, well, I think we want to get on to our next program. I don't know if the board has any other questions.
Does anybody want to fly or a car or anything?
Ed, just one quick question. You said that there'll be an insert in the next Central Hudson bill explaining the program.
Yeah.
And
Like,
then people will be automatically.
But that will
enrolled
only
unless
go
they
to
decide
people
that
who
they
are-
wanna opt out.
I only know of people, like, if people are already on a program or people have opted out, I have no idea who these people are, so they're not gonna get anything.
Right,
But people, who are already in the program and have done nothing,
it will continue.
Well, that's another thing I think that they should be informed about also. So how the program works is basically, it's 90 days. And I have to do 60 days of outreach to the community. The flyer, we have to come up here at public hearing, you have to vote on it to approve it going forward. And then we do all of our outreach, we'll be advertising this into every single home. And then once we fulfilled, and we have to submit, there's a checklist that we do, we submit that to the Public Service Commission. They say, give us the green light to move forward. Then you receive in the mail, a card, a self-addressed card saying, do you want to be in this program? There's an email address, there's an 800 number, or you can just send in the card saying, yes, if you don't want to be in, just don't do anything. But if you don't want to miss, you say, check, I don't want to be in this, I don't want to be for whatever reason. And that comes in, and then if you've done nothing, you're in the program, you're automatically in the program. And then for whatever reason, after we pass that date, you want to get out of the program, you would have to call, town hall, or you would call myself or whoever it might be. There's on the New Baltimore town website, we have an 800 number there saying, and you can say, hey, I don't want to be out of this, or whatever it might be. And to get it in or out, it takes one billing cycle to get it in and out of it.
And did I hear you right? Folks who are not on Constellation Good Energy will not get a card?
I don't know who, if they've already opted out, and if they're already on their own program, I don't get notification of these people. I have no idea.
Okay.
If someone moves in or out of this town, we call it scraping. We go through the utility list, and we know exactly when someone leaves or enters this town. So when someone comes into this town, we send them a notification saying, hey, do you want to be in the program?
Well, how many flyers do you have to provide?
I can't hear you.
There's 33,000 something people in here.
Only one
Everyone's
to
in
each
there.
house,
Huh?
No, it's only each house,
not to every person.
Okay.
So that's probably why you go through Central Hudson billing. So
Yes,
it gets to every house.
The easiest way to get there, because they're the customers.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a while. Good to see you
I've got to catch up.
more often.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think it was Javier who came the last time. It wasn't you.
Probably. We're on a bungee cord on 87.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's get to our next presentation for the day. We have folks from Lansing Engineering. Scott is getting up now, and he's going to talk. I let the cat out of the bag to some extent last meeting, and I spoke a bit about the Shady Harbor Marina project and what some of your intentions are, but I certainly couldn't do justice to the details, and that's why you folks are here tonight.
Good.
So, well, thank you.
Are you eliminating the planning board?
No, ma'am, this is not an application.
Okay, just wondering.
Okay, next, questions will have to come from, not like the last meeting where everybody just stood up and started talking. We're not gonna do that today, okay? But it's your time.
Okay, good evening. My name is Scott Lansing with Lansing Engineering, representing Shady Harbor Realty LLC. I also have with me this evening Brian and Kathy Donovan from Shady Harbor Marina, as well as Tom Glenn, our general manager. Our primary objective here this evening is just to get feedback from the town board. What we are proposing is a planned development district. We feel we have a very unique parcel here that doesn't fit in with the uses outlined in the Hamlet residential zoning, so we're proposing a planned development district. That planned development district does include us working with both the planning board and the town board. It's a multi-step process where we go back and forth from the two boards. Our understanding is the first step of the process is to petition to the town board, and that's what we're here for this evening, just to obtain feedback. So as far as the existing parcel, it is located at 70 Shady Harbor Drive. This is the parcel located right here, is approximately 10.92 acres. We have New York State Route 144 on the west side. North orientation is towards the right of the map, and then we have the Hudson River off on the east, or the bottom of the plan. It is zoned Hamlet residential, as I did mention. As far as the existing uses on the parcel, we have the marina, which includes a restaurant with amenity area, which is located in this area, amenity area off towards the south. We have the existing yacht club building located in this general area. We have the clubhouse and the pool, which is in that same general area. We have the docks, which are obviously out on the Hudson River. With the docks, there is a boat launch associated with the docks in basically the central, western, eastern portion of the parcel. We have a boat maintenance garage in the very center of the parcel, and also associated parking areas and boat storage located. There is an existing residence up by the entrance, right around this area, with the entrance coming down in and servicing all the aspects of the parcel. We have been busy. We have performed a boundary survey, topographic surveys, and a wetland survey. So we do have good data for what is existing on the parcel. What we are proposing is a mixed-use plan development district. So hinging off the existing uses on the parcel, adding residential uses in with the existing uses. First thing we did was take a look at the parcel. We looked at the boundary, the topography, the wetlands. We tried to identify usable areas on the parcel. We did identify 2 areas by the main entrance road coming down. I'm going to switch plans because I think the color drawing might
Yeah,
help
that's
better.
better.
There are 2 areas on the by the entrance drive that we felt were good usable areas, and also down on the lower portion at the bottom of the slope, good usable portion on the southwestern portion of the parcel. As I mentioned, mixed-use plan development district, so using a lot of the existing uses. So the restaurant, the yacht club building, the clubhouse, the boat launch, and approximately 60 of the docks will be maintained in the plan. What we are adding, the existing metal building, the shop building in the middle will be demolished. It is one building that would be removed from the plan. As far as what we are proposing, first off, the small realignment of the driveway as it comes down. The existing workshop building is in the central portion, so moving that driveway down to where that building used to be. And then we are proposing 10 single-unit multifamily units along the entrance drive, so in the 2 areas up above where I mentioned. We're proposing a 6-unit building and a 4-unit building. Those are anticipated to be 2-story buildings. So they'd be working with the grade such that each one of those units, each one of those buildings would have a nice clear view out towards the river. As far as topography, it is down from New York State Route 144. So as far as what is visual from 144, I think maybe you'll see the roof and maybe the top of the 2nd floor, but nothing more than that, nothing that would block the view going from 144 down towards the river. Those are more of a townhouse style, so there'd be division walls between, so there'd be 4 units on this building divided, and then the 6-unit building, same thing, divided between the individual units. The architecture on these is to be determined, so we do not have floor plans or exact elevations of those buildings. This is a concept. We're looking for feedback, but as we hopefully advance, we will absolutely get additional details on those structures. The next proposal are the 40 units down on the bottom, again at the base of the hill, on the flatter area. At the base of the hill, there are 4 10-unit buildings. Those units are proposed to be 3 stories in height. So the first floor would be garage and some living area, and then the 2nd and 3rd floor would be living space. So the purpose of that is A, to get parking for those buildings, but then also B, to get them so that they would have a view out over the existing structures out towards the river. The driveway and the roadway accessing those, we're anticipating that will be slightly elevated, and then again, you'll have the garages in the 2nd and 3rd floor of those buildings having a view out towards the lake. Similar to the other buildings, we do not have exact architecture on those yet. Looking for feedback from the board, then we'll absolutely put those together. As far as parking, we do meet town parking. 234 spaces are required. We are proposing 234 spaces. We do have 39 spaces located in this area that are more of a bank type arrangement. Typically with parking spaces, we try not to construct too many parking spaces if we don't think we need them. So we don't think we will need these spaces. So they're more of an auxiliary or extra parking. If we feel they're needed, we will absolutely construct those spaces. But we do meet the parking requirements on the site with those. Last but not least, we are showing a trail connection, something for connecting the residents off. Right? My understanding there's state lands, parklands towards the north. There'll be a trail along the river natural trail going towards the north to connect those areas. That is I'm sorry, as far as utilities, water, storm, and sewer, public sewer is available on Main Street. Stormwater would be managed on site. And we understand there will be a water main extension required as a part of this to provide public water, would be several thousand feet, something the applicants are eager to work with the town on that. That's essentially it. Again, we feel we have a unique parcel here. It's something that is not typical in the Hamlet residential area. We're applying creative techniques to make a mixed-use project, something that provides residential, commercial, restaurant, boating, recreation, good mix of everything. And we feel that falls into the plan development district. So that's essentially it. Thank you.
Good. Well, let's have some questions from the board. But I will start with one thing. Wait, to answer a question we had earlier, some of the reasons why this is before the town board, before it's elsewhere, is the concept of the creation of a water district. The planning board, last I knew, doesn't create water districts. So, before these folks can get started, we have to have something on that topic. So that's part of what we're talking about. I'm certainly, of course, concerned about the cost. The water district, the water supply would come south from the Ravenna water supply up 144 to the boathouse. The water district would include much, if not all, those homes along the way. We would need to actually address that with the individual parcel owners to see if what their preferences would be. And I certainly don't have that at this moment. We're still trying to wrangle and see where the money's ever going to come from. But we've talked about it, Kathy and Brian and myself, a few others. So that's largely what it is. I don't know. Why don't you start, Janet? Do you have any questions?
I just wanted to go back a little bit. I couldn't write fast enough. The units that you're planning there will be 50? Is that what it is
Correct,
at this
50
point?
total,
Okay, 10 single units, 2-story at the kind of the top of the property.
Correct, right in these two areas.
Okay, and then 40 units at the bottom, which will be 3 stories with living space on 2 floors and probably a garage. So there will be 50 units altogether at that.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So are these rentals? Will these all be rentals?
A mix, the applicants are not sure on that at this time. Could be a mix of rentals, could be condominiums.
Right.
They're in the process of working that out.
And what's the thought on size? Are we looking at 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms?
Most likely 1 and 2 bedrooms and again, this needs to be flushed out with the
Right.
applicants, but I would estimate based on what we work with other clients on other projects, 1 and 2 bedrooms seem to be the most popular, and an average about 1,200 square feet per unit, some larger, some smaller. I would estimate, and again, we need to clear this out with the applicants and the architect, but the upper units, I would envision those to be a little bit bigger. Those are bigger units, and then the ones down below would be a little bit smaller. But that's conceptually the thoughts right now. But that to be determined, or to be refined, I should say.
Right, and has there been a study, like, the 1 bedroom kind of bothers me, just because we're a family community, we're a bedroom community for Albany. Do we have, are we, with the 1 bedroom, do we think that's going to be good for the area? You understand what I'm saying? Like, because we are mostly families in the area, so I'm just wondering if that's gonna be a good enough fit instead of a 2 bedroom. That's all.
Yeah, and I apologize, maybe I misspoke with the 1 and 2 bedrooms. Again, we'll have to work that out with the applicants, and I'm sure there will be a lot more thought into the distribution of the units. What we do see in a lot of these projects are the 1 bedroom units are very attractive to young professionals and empty nesters, not necessarily families. So there's usually a split between 1 and 2 bedrooms in my experience, but again, we'll flush that out as we move forward.
And since the boat shop is gone, is that going up somewhere else, or they're just not gonna have a boat shop down there?
Yeah, it's my understanding that the maintenance there likely be an auxiliary location where boat maintenance would be done and would not be done on this specific parcel.
Okay, and how is the parking gonna work for Shady Harbor?
For Shady Harbor, we have the allocated spaces in this area, and there's a small amount for the auxiliary. And then the residential units, they actually will have garages and parking spaces outside their garage.
Right, but I'm just wondering, like, on a Saturday night when you guys are super busy and now we've got also houses there, I was just wondering, because it looks like your parking lot is definitely decreased for Shady Harbor.
It's more organized.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean, you're just
lines.
Right, but you,
boats there anymore either.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that takes a lot of space.
Yeah.
A lot of.
when you're just looking at the picture and you've been down there and it seems like, well, that seems a lot, and now it looks like we're scrunched,
Always
so.
said to Scott is I always want a parking spot, so make sure that.
I think it's a good, I don't know if that's your forte, but there was some conversation about the effect on the restaurant and what your intentions. I don't know if that's something you can speak of.
Sure, I can speak. One of the goals of the applicant are to expand the restaurant so that's a year-round service as opposed to seasonal. So this does help with that. Provides residents right in the immediate area, gives them the opportunity without the cold storage to be able to have a parking lot so they can be open year-round. So that is one of their primary goals, is to have a restaurant open year-round.
Oh, we all keep track of when that goes, so.
Yeah. And the road from 144 down, who's responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of that road, the plowing?
Yeah, that would be the applicant's responsibility. That would not be dedicated to the town or the town's responsibility.
If they want to do it.
Gotta be built to spec.
Oh, yeah.
Change the sign to green.
I have a question. I'm assuming, being an engineer, you've got this figured, but what about flooding? That's awful close to the river, and I know that a lot of the homes down, right on the river have flooded before.
Yeah, the floodplain is on the lower plateau, absolutely, but as you go back, you will be elevated up, so we do feel they will be out in the floodplain.
Okay.
We'll make sure that's right.
Especially since you have garages in them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of would like, you're speaking of the apartment buildings or what you might call them, being somewhat raised just now. I don't want them, I would not be comfortable with them being raised so that, the rooftops are going to block the view of everybody, as we go through town.
Yeah, I apologize, I didn't touch on the units down below. The units up above, as I mentioned, this one building here, the 4-unit building, you might see the roof or, perhaps the upper story, similar to what it would be for a single-story house along 144. As far as the units down below, you would not see any of those with the grade change that's there, and if they were constructed even at 3 stories, they would not be visible from what roof would be. So it should not block anybody's view in any way.
So, can you talk a little bit about the public sewer and how this will be accommodated? What impact is this going to have on, that system?
Yeah, the public sewer, to understanding it's available on New York State Route 144. We have not looked specifically at a connection point or exactly how that would be connected as far as the wastewater generation from 50 units is typically not that much. We anticipate that there's adequate capacity. The sewer will analyze that and work with the sewer authority to coordinate that connection, but we don't see any problems.
Well, the restaurant's already hooked into the
Yeah,
sewer.
I was just saying, yeah, we already.
The restaurant, yeah, I
And
was just
the
thinking
whole
of
The whole property.
the additional properties, yeah.
Now, these are gonna be, they're not gonna be owned by Shady Harbor, they're gonna be owned by the individual who purchased them, correct?
We're looking at a combination of condos, potentially rental units, townhouses. That's the piece that we haven't identified yet. The first piece is about figuring out what is the right mix.
I'm just trying to sort out in my head, are these going to be 40 or what is it, 50 parcels? Defined as a condo, as a taxing unit separate, or is it gonna be the big project with individual apartments? I'm just thinking of the, procedural aspects of it, and technical aspects.
Yeah, and I believe that would be something that the attorneys that put together the plan development
Right.
district as well as the town assessor, and typically with the condominiums, it's the units are owned, they have to paint within the units, and the property is owned jointly by owners of the condo association.
The way our sewer district works, every dwelling gets 10 points assigned to them. some parties, like the boathouse, I think you're like 10 times, I think you're 80 points offhand. And I'm not sure how they determined it back when, but they came up with it. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. A two-family home has 20 points. So I'm just wondering if, like, just from the sewer district's perspective, do each of those properties, each of those homes, are they all gonna be 10 points? And thereby, we're going to have more points in our sewer district, and the cost of operation of the sewer district, while the cost might go up, but the cost will be spread apart with more users. I mean, these are things we have to sort out. And again, that's not something the planning board does. You don't do anything with the sewer either, do you?
I don't know. We haven't had a project like this.
Didn't think so.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, so now you know why it's here.
That's your job.
Now you know why it's before the town board. You guys worry about the building aspects and all those things. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I would estimate that each one of the units would be considered a dwelling unit and assign whatever the appropriate number of points are. But that's something we can absolutely coordinate.
Yeah, we'll have to coordinate that because we'll have to, obviously, there's going to have to be, with increased usage.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be a charge, whether it's,
And we gotta figure out.
or it's individualized, yeah.
And when we create, this would be a new water district in New Baltimore, that would be subject to a public referendum, correct? Down the line?
Probably. There are ways around where it's not necessary. In essence, if there's no funding required, according to Delaware Engineering, no public funding required, then there's ways around it. And is that pretty much what Mary Beth told us last week?
Exactly.
So there may be a way around it if there's no funding. It doesn't cost anybody.
But we've gotta get the neighboring town to agree to extend the line, correct?
I had lunch with a person who's really, involved with that. So it's not signatures on paper though, but
I
the
realize.
willingness is there. Yes,
The willingness is there,
and the capacity.
okay.
So the installation, the beginning installation of the new sewer lines and the new water lines, is that, or the tap off for the line that goes down, I'm not sure how that works, but is that covered in the building cost? Or were you looking for us to, as a town, to cover that extension into there, or?
Yeah, as far as the sanitary sewer, I perceive that as a service to the project. So there's already a line on Route 144, so I would envision an upgrade to the service going to that main line. I feel that would be something that the applicant of the project would be responsible for. As far as the water, I think there is a larger community benefit. I think the applicants are looking to talk to the town and see what options there are for everybody to make something like that work. So nothing predetermined that I'm aware of on either side.
No, but you've done these before, so you kind of know how the whole thing plays out.
To give I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, to give folks an idea of the cost involved to run the water to the boathouse. They estimated, as Mary Beth from Delaware Engineering, what she called back of the envelope considerations. It says about 4.3 million. To run further, and she just threw in and said, if you wanted the lines to go down Main Street to where Church Street is, roughly, that's 5.3 million. Now, again, these are not contracts. They're not actual, we've not contracted with Delaware Engineering to do that full job. This is the back of the envelope figuring, as she said. And that includes boring underneath lateral boring underneath the creek. That's how the lines will get there, up the hill from there. So, as I've mentioned earlier, and there are caveats and there's strings attached to the CHIPPY money. CHIPPY money is worth $206,000 a year. If we were to finance something along that line, I mean, I did talk to the people at the Bank of Green County. I said, look, if I can make payments for $206,000, how much of a loan could I get? How much of a bond? It was a backwards conversation. And that, he suggested, roughly 3, maybe 3.3, depends on interest rates at the time of the event. That's that issue.
We also get a small 1.5% increase every year of the 206,000.
Yes, so I mean, it goes up by approximately 3,000 a year, so that helps. But, you know, and as those who've done bonding before know that if we did a bond here today in August, our first payment is not till August of 2025. Okay, a year from now. The problem I'm worried about with the Champlain Hudson, and I haven't expressed this to yourselves, is that apparently Champlain Hudson Power Express is behind schedule. And it was originally anticipated that we would start getting money in 2022 or 3. I can't remember what, that's long since passed. Now they're suggesting 2026. And now they tell me they're behind schedule, so who knows? But if we're gonna get the money in 2027, we can start bonding in 2026. I'm not sure if I want to do that, but that these are all potentials. There's so many balls in the air on this that you know, it'll take a lot of work with us all to see if we can get something like this done. And I have no idea. From now on, when the owl goes too far, it will hoot.
You know it does. Yeah. You know that does.
It does
We're
hoot?
supposed to turn
Get
around
out of
and look
town.
at it.
It doesn't hoot.
When they plugged it in the other day, it hooted, right?
This I didn't know. Okay, well, nevertheless, yeah, we, you know, there's a lot of work for us all to do. And, so, thank
I
you.
have a couple.
Oh, go ahead.
So how long do you think the construction would be? Would the restaurant be open during that time of the construction as well?
The construction obviously depends on how they phase it, which we haven't quite gotten to yet. Project of this magnitude from start to finish, probably a year to 18 months, I would estimate, maybe in 2 phases, 2 9-month phases. As far as the restaurant, I'm certain the applicants would like to keep the restaurant open as much as possible to get the utilities up Shady Harbor Drive. There might be some closure of the restaurant, perhaps the first year they can do it in the off season and then be open year round from then. But haven't quite gotten that far, but obviously the goal is to keep construction as limited as possible and keep the restaurant open as much as possible.
And the road, you said you're gonna change the slope. Would it be widened as well?
It would have to be widened a little bit as far as the slope. The slope kind of is the slope, and that you know, we're dealing with connecting two points. We would try to work with that slope as much as possible and flatten it as much as possible within reason.
You're gonna keep that home up there on the top of the hill?
Correct, yes.
You know, I'm looking at that little cutout where that other parcel is, and I'm looking at your trail. I think your trail needs to be amended a little, because that'll bring you right to the sewer plant.
Yeah.
Can we take a look at that?
Just check it out. Maybe I'm wrong. It looks like it. All right, anything more?
And just a quick aside, where is the boat storage going to be after it's no longer here?
We're working on that now. Some of it will go to Queens, and we're looking at some property. Build a large maintenance facility to allow that to work 12 months a year too. Create some jobs that are year-round versus seasonal. So that's a whole nother challenge we're working on.
Well, I want to
think the
thank,
river can use it though.
I want to thank you for coming in. It gives a lot more clarity to our ourselves, the town board, and the town residents. We're not going to do it like we did last time, guys. We can't just everybody get up. I know you want to. It got way out of control because when I let one, then I got to let him, and it got crazy last time. So, it was crazy. All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Okay, let's move on with the rest of our agenda. Supervisor, that's me. Okay, a couple things we have, the monthly financial reports have been sent for the month of July to all board members. Have been sent to all the board members. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yeah.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept the July financial reports.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Okay, in terms of the budget for 2020, over here. Okay. For 2025, the budget has begun. Put that below that. The budget has been done. Excuse me, begun.
It's not done.
It's begun. Pardon me. And an email has been sent out to all departments asking them to bring forth information and updates for 2025 that will be important for the budgeting process. We certainly, and I always have concerns. My biggest concern is regarding estimates of revenue, ancillary revenues. That is non-tax. We have lots of revenue sources, whether it's building permits and dog licenses, and
Judge.
fines are way down. Fines are way down. When we started here, I started here, we were 160,000. We're not gonna make 60,000 this year. Okay. Dog licenses. We have about 110 dogs in our town.
That's all.
You believe it?
Sure. How many are licensed?
That's all we have, because they're all licensed. So there are issues with that. And there are other things, issues with revenue that we need to be concerned about. And then, of course, there's increasing costs from inflation and all these other factors that exist out there in the world. Second question, of course, we have problems with insurance. Our insurance rates are going up. We're going to have health insurance increases of about 12%. Okay. And property taxes might be that much as well, liability property. And, all other line items. The next thing is, it's kind of like, I think I have a question here. But I've had 2 meetings with the IDA staff in the recent weeks. They have projects in mind as well, aside from the one we've just heard about. Concerns remain about the costs. It went from an estimate of $6.5 million for the Coxsackie North extension to the thruway exit along 9W. For both, it went from 6.5 million, and by the time the meeting was over, it was 8.5 million.
Is that the truck stop?
Yes.
Okay.
And a little bit more than just the truck stop, right?
I can't say at this point. It's becoming out of reach, is what I'm saying. It's, nice, pie in the sky, but it's getting out of reach. That's my opinion. Okay, what else do I have here? That's pretty much it. I did mention the chippy monies. I think we'll be lucky if we get that by 2027. That's just my opinion. Okay, so having said that, let's move on. Town clerk.
11 building permits, $10,783.44. 1 new septic system, $50. 4 CO searches, $200. 1 easy bass tag, $25. 4 fishing licenses, $5.70. 23 dog licenses, $162. 1 late license, $5. 2 marriage licenses, $35. 2 one-day officiant license, $50. 2 beer permits, $40. 2 non-resident park rentals, $100. 3 resident park rentals, $75. 27 certified copies, $270. Recycle fees, $16. Total state, county, and local revenues, $11,977.44. $31 to the New York State Department of Ag and Markets for the spay neuter program. $45 to the New York State Department of Health for Marriages, $84.30 to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for fishing licenses. Total to supervisor, $11,817.14. To date, we have collected $3,028,422.77. Penalties of $12,109.95. Return check fee of $20, notice fees of $94. This represents 83% collected and remaining uncollected of $668,036.29. August 1st, all unpaid property taxes will be submitted to Greene County Treasurer's Office. We received 7 foils in July, bringing the total for the year to 20 as of July 31st.
Thank you, Barbara.
Can I ask you a question? Those 7 foils, are
Yes.
those 7 different people?
No.
Or is it just one person?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, next report I have here is for the recycling center. Would you take care of that, Councilwoman Downs?
Monthly report for August, date 7/24 to 8/26, 30 tires, up to and including 16-inch without rim, 30, with $120. Then we have free to resident, 60-gallon bags of plastic, 10, bundles of magazines and phone books, 5, bags and bundles of newspaper, 39, boxes and bundles of cardboard, 196, and we had 1 air conditioner.
Wow. Who would give us 30 tires?
Supervisor, may I go a little bit out of order here because I did have a brief report for animal control.
Of course, please go ahead.
Thank you. All right, as some of you know, starting back in May, we've tried to do regular reports of the activities of our dog control officer. The last one was January through May. So this one is June through the end of this month. On June 13th, there was a husky found near Route 5154. The owner was found and returned. As I recall, that was Luna. She was unlicensed and she was
Yes.
brought in to be licensed.
151.
Actually, met Luna.
Yeah, she was really pretty. I saw
She
her
was.
picture.
Very friendly.
On June 14th, there was a blue-nosed pit bull found on Gedney Hill Road. It was reunited with the owner. I do not know if it was licensed or whether any further action was taken on that, but we can follow up. On June 30th, there was a call for another missing pit bull on Route 51. There doesn't seem to have been any resolution to that. On July 12th, a white pit bull was found in the hamlet. Sherry Vieta actually contacted me on that because she was in another town, and so I went out and I started looking around because I knew where the area was, and I was able to actually find where the pit bull lived. It had gone home, and Sherry joined me then. We had to talk to the owner through her, what do you call them, ring doorbells? Because she was out shopping and wanted to know what we were doing there. I said, "Is this your dog?" And she allowed us to let them in. I know that Sherry left a business card with her. I don't know if she ever responded to find out whether it was licensed. I talked to Barb and it doesn't seem to have been, so that's still outstanding, but Sherry did leave a business card with her. On July 17th, there was a report of 2 medium brown dogs roaming, theoretically in Matthews Point Road. I actually live there. I've never seen any such dogs there, so I think that it was probably an error in location, because the people say that they've seen them 3 times. There are no such dogs in my neighborhood, so I don't know anything about that. And the last 2 reports, on July 22nd, there was a report of a missing cat from Elk Cove Road. No resolution to that. 7/23, a missing cat, black. No resolution to that. The other day, August 24th, there's been a report of a Chiweenie missing from Route 9W. Yeah. I had to look it up myself. It's actually a Chihuahua Dachshund mix. They call it a Chiweenie. It got loose on Route 9W near the thruway exit, so people are asked to look out for it. And beyond that, on October 5th, my spay neuter clinic is hopefully coming up.
Okay.
To date, I have 25 appointments, and I'm hoping that between now and the end of September, I will get us up to the 40 that we need so that we can bring this low-cost spay and neuter program to New Baltimore for people who need it for their cats. Cats only, unfortunately, this time. Hopefully next time we can have dogs. That's where we are for right now. And I know, Jeff, that we've spoken about getting a citation ticket
Well,
printed for
there
Sherry
is in our
so that
code
she can
already.
hand them out.
There is in our code already that if we encounter your dog, it's missing, we pick it up, maybe someone complains, however we encounter it. We have already a fine system, or enforcement system, that says you didn't register your dog. Here's a $25 fine, goes before the judge. And it is, and you still have to register your dog or license your dog. I'm informed from someone who claims they know that we probably haven't written a ticket for dogs not being licensed in probably 35 years.
Well,
And since there's absolutely no repercussion for not having a licensed dog, zero, because I think you indicated there were 3 pit bulls and a husky.
yeah,
Only one of those 4 have gotten their license.
that we're aware of, yeah.
Well, seemingly.
Yeah, but we've talked about, I think that you and I were talking about,
Buying a
gonna get
ticket
some
book,
citations printed up.
buying a
for
ticket
Sherry.
book, yeah.
Yeah.
It
ticket
costs
book
like
that she
$40
can use.
for a packet of like,
And maybe that'll
300.
make it easier, because at least she'll be able to leave people with a warning or say,
Right.
we
Okay,
need this.
I'm just gonna ask you, Janet, for next time, so I don't bypass you. Make
Right,
sure I know that you're on that you got something for.
right.
for
I'm
the-
sorry, I sent you a
No, it's all-
note, but I didn't have anything written until this afternoon.
All right, so I did order in budget buildings, code enforcement officer, what do you have, who is that? That's Chairman Downs again.
Summarization of code enforcement officers' activities for July 2024 is as follows. Building inspections, 29, building permits issued, 6, building permits renewed, 2, building permit renewal letters sent, 2, first notices, certificates of compliance issued, 9, certificate of occupancy search requested, 3, new single-family home applicant, 1, new single-family home permits issued, 3, complaint forms received, 1, total new building permit applications received, 6, new building permit applications awaiting permit issuance, 21, new septic system applications, 1, open building permits, 228, application fees